Hey guys, it's Dave Gass. Can you picture a 14-year-old or a couple of 14-year-olds doing this today? I mean, I see 14-year-olds get off the bus and their parents are waiting at the top of the driveway in this beautiful neighborhood. Now, listen to this one. My freshman year in high school, uh, I back in the day, I was a huge WWF fan. Oh my God. And Georgia Championship Wrestling. Wrestling was my life. Wrestling magazines, oh my God, everything. So I actually even wanted to go to wrestling school. I'm not even kidding you. Uh, and I went to wrestling matches 100 times probably, professional wrestling matches. Anyways, I met a kid, Alan, and may he rest in peace. He died of leukemia in high school. Great kid. But I met a kid, Alan, in my science class my freshman year. I did not know him, but we lived near each other. And he was into wrestling too. And the big thing was happening. Bruno Sammartino had broke his neck, and from what I understand, he really did against, I believe it was Cowboy Stan Hansen or just Stan Hansen, and they had a huge rivalry. And they were going to have a cage match at the Boston Garden. We're probably 50 miles away from the Boston Garden, and me and Alan were like, we're going. We're going to go see this cage match, 14 years old. So we took a bus from our city to the bus station outside of Boston. Then we took, I guess, the T, which is the subway, to the Boston Garden. 14 years old, the two of us. Freshmen in high school. Just me and him. And we bought tickets. We went in it's the old Boston Garden. And we were up on the overhang. If you remember how the old Boston Garden was. Oh, and it was the cage match. And this is when we actually thought wrestling was real. And it was going to be the return. Bruno was going to get revenge against Stan Hansen. And there was a bunch of other great matches on there. Bob Backlund and I think the Samoans and a bunch of other things. But two 14-year-old kids actually leaving our city on a bus. I actually think we had to walk 10 miles to the bus station. It was a Saturday, so we left in the morning. I think it was a Greyhound terminal. Went to the bus station, 14 years old. Bought our own tickets. Took the bus. Then got to Boston. Took the subway to Boston Garden. And went to the event. Totally crazy. God. These kids around here, 14 years old, I think their parents still dress them. And then, at 15, my parents had two Pontiac Venturas. Both junks. A 4-door and a 2-door. Brown. And my parents loved to go camping. So I believe they took the 2-door Pontiac Ventura and they went camping. Well, I'm 15. The keys are on the table. And Ozzy Osbourne is going to the Worcester Centrum. It's the same idea. Like the Boston Garden is 50 miles this way, and the Worcester Centrum is 50 miles this way. So we would go to concerts there all the time, maybe 40 miles. And this car needed front shocks so bad. It was hilarious. So I think it was me, my friend Aldo, and my friend Brian, and my friend Mark. I drove my parents' car. I never even told them they passed away. I never told them this story. We were driving all the way to the Worcester Centrum, and the car was like this, needed front shocks. It was hilarious. I'm driving, 15 years old, no license, no nothing. We get to the Worcester Centrum. We're going to go see Ozzy Osbourne. And this was right after Randy Rhoads passed away. And I believe Jakey Lee was the guitarist. Tommy Aldrich on drums, Rudy Sarzo on bass. And it was so funny. My father had bottomed out with this car and bent the linkage on the shifter on the column. The car did not go into park. So it would have rolled. You can shut the car off and everything. The parking lot was a little slanted, and I'm like, oh, guys, what if the car rolls away? You know, I was worried. We're 40 miles, 50 miles away from home on a weekend night. I believe it was probably a Friday or Saturday. I see a McDonald's bag, and I see a rock. I put the rock in the McDonald's bag, stick it under the front tire. Because if I just put the rock, I felt somebody might see it, kick it out, or grab it out, and the car would roll away and hit something. By putting it in the McDonald's bag, people would think I just ran over some junk. Oh my God, did we have a good time. We had such a good time. And like I said, we were nauseous from the car bouncing like that down the highway. And at the time, my father, he was working for some laundry company. So he would have to bring the dry cleaning to people. So there was a bar in the back of the car, and he would hang the clothes on it. My friends are sitting in the back seat, and my father had a set of jumper cables on the floor. They stuck the jumper cables on the pole, and they're holding this bar all the way to Worcester. It was so crazy. Then it was probably the same situation. My parents probably went camping with my cousin Paul, and it was, I believe, Great White, Iron Maiden, and Judas Priest, once again at the Worcester Centrum. I tell my friends, let's go. And they're like, really? You're going to drive there at 15? I says, we'll be fine. We take that Pontiac Ventura. We go all the way to the Worcester Centrum, which was an incredible show. I think there was one more band, Coney Hatch. That was original. I think they were local. It was a great show. I've seen Iron Maiden with Judas Priest 9 times. Incredible. Incredible, incredible. So now we go to that show. Well, at that show, they hand you this paper. For $4 or $3, you can go see Quiet Riot at another place in Worcester called the Agora. So we already saw that concert. Let's go over. We walk over, and we get jumped. I'm a pretty big guy, so these 3 black guys were coming at us, a little older than us. My friends, they weren't fighters. One of them had a super expensive Canon camera around his neck. He came from money. And the other kid had one of those, what we call chain drive wallet, with the chain. So one of the black kids grabs me and pushes me up, and he was pretty thick. Pushes me up against a telephone pole, and he was just like, guy, I don't want to fight you. Just let's hold each other here like we're doing, we're fighting. It would have been a tough fight for both of us. And I was young. The other 2 guys, one of them grabbed the camera around my friend's neck and pretty much dragged him halfway down the street in Worcester Oh no, I'm wrong. It's in Hartford, Connecticut. I'm sorry. Yeah, Hartford, Connecticut. It was much further. And they get his Canon camera. Then the other kid, they beat these kids up. They weren't fighters. He had the chain drive wallet, and we were supposed to go see Def Leppard the next day at the Cape Cod Coliseum. And same thing. They grab the wallet and start dragging this kid down the street until the chain breaks. We lose our Def Leppard tickets for the next day. And they're all beat up, the two of them. We go over to see Quiet Riot, and it was wild. They were outside in the parking lot in their tour bus. I talked to the guitar player Carlos Cavazo for probably 20 minutes about guitar, because I used to be in a band playing guitar. I still noodle around, but back then I was really into it, and he was such a nice guy. Kevin Dubrow, the singer, he was kind of loud. Everybody else was kind of mellow, but a bus pulls up, and it's some of the guys from Iron Maiden, some of the guys from Judas Priest. So we get to meet them too. I remember Bruce Dickinson. Oh my God, he was with like 3 gorgeous girls. Hey, this is young. We were young. I was 15. Steve Harris, the bass player, he was super nice to everybody. And we went inside this club, no IDs, and it was a nightclub. It's called the Agora, and I was wrong. It's in Hartford, Connecticut, I believe. And we saw that show. So in one night, we saw Great White, Coney Hatch, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and then Quiet Riot, and met the guys from Quiet Riot and Iron Maiden. So the next day, we have no tickets now to Def Leppard, and it's sold out. I said to the guys, you guys are really beat up. Let's go in the back, like where all the tour buses are and all that, and security, and we'll tell these guys the story about what happened. We'll show them our ripped ticket stubs from Connecticut, and they'll see both of your faces all busted out, and we'll see what happens. They were great. They were like, who the hell could make up that story? Let us in to see Def Leppard, and we had a great time. But I have so many concert stories. Oh my God, I've seen some of the greats. I've probably seen over 100 bands and some tours that were iconic. But yeah, that's the story about a 14-year-old Dave Gass going to Boston Garden to see wrestling, and then a 15-year-old Dave Gass driving to see Ozzy Osbourne, and then driving to the Judas Priest Iron Maiden concert. But picture a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old doing that today. I don't think so, but it was a lot of fun. Dave Gass out.